Well, President Obama also today released a new health care plan in anticipation of a major Washington meeting on the issue a little later this week. The president's plan proposes the first Medicare tax on capital gains and other unearned income, which would raise fees on drug makers and would scale back a levy on high-end benefits. So how is all of this latest plan playing out in the markets, specifically with the health care stocks? Joining us now is John Sullivan. He is a healthcare strategist and director of equity research at Leerink Swann. John, welcome to you. Great to have you.
Thanks. Good afternoon.
First, let me ask you about this latest policy. What do you think of the president, in a sense, taking over the details of healthcare overhaul from Congress?
Well, I think the president is probably frustrated that Congress hasn't been able to get anything over the goal line, and now he's doing something that he specifically didn't want to do, which was to submit his own plan.
All right, let's run through a couple of the particulars of his own plan. I'm curious for your thoughts. One of the most controversial areas of the proposal, this advocation of applying taxes for Medicare to unearned income, which would be for the first time ever. What kind of ramifications might that have?
You know, this is pointed, obviously, specifically at wealthier Americans, and this is certainly in line with Democrats' politics and approach to the 2010 elections. As far as healthcare stocks are concerned, I don't think that it's in itself a big deal, but it certainly is something that's not going to play well in certain parts of the country at election time.
As our reporter at the White House, Hans Nichols, said, this new proposal really sucks it to the rich, as you just described. Are there broader market implications because of that?
You know, it's certainly more Democratic politics. It certainly draws a clearer line between Democrats and Republicans as we come down to the election. Should this plan pass, and should the public sentiment be positive toward it, which it is not right now, that would certainly be good news for the Democrats in the fall. I think we're a long way from that right now.
All right, let's break down some of the industries within healthcare. I'd like to begin with managed care, because we're seeing stocks increase a decent gap higher today, largely, I would assume, because there's no public option. What's going on in managed care today?
No, that's absolutely right. Managed care investors are relieved that the president's proposal does not include a public plan. He has been the strongest proponent since the campaign trail in 2008 of a government-run insurer, and the fact that it's not in the proposal is good news.
Yet more people, there's not a line of thinking that more people wouldn't be covered, therefore you'd see an increase in demand for healthcare stock or insurance-related stocks, excuse me.
Well, I think that the worry for healthcare investors about the public plan was that it was the first step to the government owning more of the health insurance business and taking it away from the traditional health insurers. So I think that the lack of a public plan is broadly good news for the health insurance industry.
Okay, let's talk about the pharmaceuticals. Under the Obama proposal, the pharmaceuticals would shoulder $10 billion more in fees over 10 years beginning in 2011. That extra money would be used to cover the so-called donut hole in coverage for Medicare prescription drug patients, a reason not to own drug stocks right now.
I think that investors are looking at this as roughly a wash. I think that the last days of the Democrat and Republican joint meetings about their health care reform bills included increased fees for the drug industry, so I don't think anybody's surprised to see that. And the closing of the donut hole would certainly increase compliance and increase revenues for the drug industry. I think it's about a wash. Okay,
drug stocks, though, in particular, any other reason to own or not to own? Any Pfizer, Merck, any of the big ones?
Oh, sure. You know what? At Leerink Swann, we're recommending the biggest drug stocks. Pfizer and Merck are our favorites. Don't forget, drug stocks are trading at levels today, at valuations today, that already anticipate some version of healthcare reform and some negative effect on their business from the additional fees of healthcare reform. So we think drug stocks, with the attractive dividend yields that they provide, are at a pretty good starting point for investors, and we encourage investors to be using them.
In the generic industry, any patents expiring? How's that playing out as a strategy right now?
Well, in the near term, obviously, the generics industry is anticipating that there will be some big products in the drug industry that'll be coming to generic status. That's good news for generics in the near term. We think that for the branded pharmaceutical stocks like Pfizer and Merck, that's already priced into the stocks reasonably well.
All right, we appreciate your time. John Sullivan of Leerink Swann talking healthcare stocks and broader market implications to healthcare overhaul. Appreciate it.